All right. What it do? What it do? Welcome back. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Late for the Party on Anchor FM. Or Late for the Party Anchor FM and Late for the Party live on YouTube, you guys. I am your host, Melodious, aka Coverboy, the Modern Marvel. That's right, you guys. Oh man, here we go. Here we go. Once again. All right, but we're going to talk about something a little bit different from all the fighting game, and that kind of realm in brawlers. But I do have a guilty pleasure, and it's always been like one of those like kind of stealth action type. I was always like the third person shooter, never really much in the first person shooters. Like there's some of them that kind of like I was getting down on, like Black Ops and a little bit because I like the little future tech and whatnot. But then there's one game that I always kind of held it to high regards, and like when it came down to like stealth action was Splinter Cell. So, but then I find out that Splinter Cell is not only that the main character is also going to be on Rainbow Six Siege as in a DLC Shadow Legacy. So my thing is like I said, it's a first person shooter. I mean, I haven't really got down to that. I play more like Overwatch and a couple other games like Titanfall. But my thing is, where the hell is Splinter Cell at? You know what I'm saying? Because honestly, that game, like, it's like definitely when you talk about like stealth and like that was on that level of like that shit to me was like better than playing. That was actually better than playing freaking Metal Gear on in my thoughts, especially the game it was a Splinter Cell Blacklist that came out back in 2013, and I played majority of the Splinter Cell games. I think the only one I did not play was Splinter Cell Essentials, and I think it was Double Agent, to where he was in jail. But everything from I played the original from Pandora Tomorrow and Chaos Theory. Those games were fun, and you know, and it's funny because like I was always not because I was always a Tom Clancy buff, like reading books like Hunt for Red October, Patriot Games, all the Jack Ryan stuff that my dad would always like get all these books and everything, and I would read most of them whenever I got in trouble at school. So if my biggest punishment was, okay, you can't watch TV, but you're going to read this book and you're going to tell me what happened in that chapter. And that was basically my assignment. That was my punishment. And hell, you sit there and realize like you're sitting here reading this story, and some of them be compelling. But when you're in like in the fourth or fifth grade, I mean, come on, I was already in the fourth grade reading at an eighth grade level, reading LA Times and whatnot. So I mean, it's kind of funny, but shame on me for getting my ass in trouble at school. But when the whole Tom Clancy franchise, and I was always into the Tom Clancy stuff. So I mean, I've been like getting into like, I mean, of course, Rainbow Six, like anything connected to Tom Clancy, I was always involved in because of the stories and how like the game, the books would be compelling, but then like the games would be compelling. Like I said, I'm not much of a first person shooter, but when I started playing like Rainbow Six, I mean, it's really not that bad. I mean, it's actually kind of fun, and I like the little attributes of like you using little knickknacks to do your thing and whatnot. But then I see Sam Fisher's getting his whole thing with his own little story in the game, and I'm like, wow, but I want a Splinter Cell game, like ever since, like, I mean, I wouldn't even really consider Metal Gear Solid. I wouldn't even say Metal Gear Solid 5 was much of a stealth game because it was more open world, but I mean, but then you had the option to go stealth, but yeah, I mean, but then you could go balls to the wall, blasting everything in sight with a RPG, but I think more or less like the fact that you can actually do, like, Splinter Cell was that game to where you really had to do a lot of stealth stuff. So, and when Blacklist came out, oh man, you had the option to be, you could go stealth mode, you could go Panther mode, you can go, you can go assault mode, to where it's like, man, like, they weren't playing when it came down to, and it wasn't a problem to like pick the option of like, hey, you have a whole crew coming at you, you're like in this room, you got your best weapons on deck, so what are you gonna do? You're gonna load up, you're gonna black out the room, do whatever you gotta do, try to move around, or you gonna just go full on assault mode. I mean, that was cool. I remember that game. And that's probably one of the weird things, because it was like going on PS4, going on the PlayStation Network, and going in the PlayStation Store. I don't even see any Splinter Cell games even available to play on PlayStation Now or anything. So that's kind of weird. But we got like Ghost Recon and freaking Rainbow Six, and what was the other one that they had too? Like, there was a couple of them, but they're all on there. But I mean, no Splinter Cell. And honestly, I feel like the stories with that, just especially with like Conviction and Blacklist. Like I said, I missed Double Agent, but it was a cool little thing, and I miss those kind of games. I mean, those games were mad fun, and I wish they would actually, at least if they're not gonna do a new Splinter Cell game, which is kind of odd, because having the main protagonist who who solidified the stealth franchise, of the stealth game franchises, the stealth genre, I should say, that really held it down. And honestly, it's like, you're gonna pull the guy from the game that made that game, you're gonna get the guy that made that game popular and put him in another one, but you're not gonna give us that game. You're not gonna give us the game that he was popular in. So, like, come on now. I mean, either way, I just wanted to say that and speak my piece on that real quick. So, trying to get all my content out before I like get out the door. So, I think I got one more in the tank. So, yeah, I'm gonna see what's up with you guys in a bit. Just wanted to speak my mind on that. Yeah, you guys. So, like always, please like, comment, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Support the podcast on Anchor FM. Also, check out all the cool Late for the Party merch on teespring.com. This is Late for the Party live on the YouTube channel and Late for the Party on Anchor FM. So I'm doing all this stuff simultaneously. So either way, I am your host, Melodious, a.k.a. Coverboy, the Modern Marvel, signing off. And as always, if you're going to be late for the party, turn it up to 11.